What's happening?
We're recording an episode.
Where are we?
My office.
Your office looks like shit.
You look like shit.
Hey. There's nothing on my wall.
Well, Aaron, it's my office, and you haven't decorated it yet.
Okay. We're already recording, aren't we? Mother. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inner Podcast, where you get to embrace your inner nerd. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I'm your host, Brandon.
And we're back. It's official. Season 2. And you can see my face. And I'm not shaven. And he's not shaven. Look how long his hair's
I
gone.
most certainly am not shaven. The last time I shaved my beard, I regretted it. I hated what I saw. So we're sticking with facial hair.
I'm going to try my best to ignore the bright yellow camera facing me. All right, and we're back because we just realized that, to be completely fair, we planned this out, just not well.
Yeah.
Like, we always knew we were coming to do a visual version of the podcast at some point.
Right.
But all the fancy Sacramento studios.
Fanty?
Fanty. I said fancy.
You said all the fanty.
Oh, the fancy.
Oh, the fanty.
All the fancy studio. My joke doesn't work anymore. It doesn't matter. I'm going to open my orange cream soda.
Nice.
Because it matches my chair.
Nice. I have a mango Celsius. Mango lemonade.
Mango lemonade. How are you, Brennan? It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Not really, but...
I mean, yeah, for us, we saw each other like minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here.
Yeah.
Setting this up for a while.
The last time we recorded was an episode was what? October?
Yes. I can pull up that information
You can.
right here.
He can do that. Power of the internet. Hey.
Power of slow internet. 100 and... That can't be right. What? It says it's been 112 days? That cannot be right.
That
Right?
sounds right.
112 days?
Yeah.
No way, dude. September 18th?
Yeah.
There was not 112 days in between now and September.
Yes, there most certainly was.
I don't think that's true. Anyway, September 18th was our last episode, the one on trilogies. We only did 17 episodes.
Yeah, we
weren't like super consistent,
No, we were not.
unfortunately. And who says anything is going to change?
Well, we are.
I'm joking.
We are saying that.
I'm joking.
We're saying that.
It's a joke.
We're saying that.
Anyway. So, Brandon,
Aaron.
it's the beginning of a new year.
It is.
We had an eventful 2025 in terms of releases.
Yes.
Not so much in our personal lives.
No.
But movies, video games, comic books, a lot happened in 2025.
Yes.
And chances are 2026 is only going to be bigger and better.
It better be.
I thought 2020...
It better be.
Anyway. But in the beginning of 2025, I was under the impression that 2025 was going to be like the year. of movies, of video games.
I think everyone thinks that, just in general, until it goes to shit.
And in terms of 2025, I think movie-wise, there was definitely a big showing of variety and all kinds of different stuff. And DC really like came in swinging with their content.
Right.
But I'd say video games really took the limelight. I mean, did you watch the Game Awards?
Yeah.
I
Didn't
mean,
watch the Game Awards.
Claire Obscure just can't. Everyone knew Claire Obscure Expedition 33 was going to be Game of the Year, but it swept like pretty much every single award that it was nominated for. It pretty much got, which was like 9.
I think so.
Maybe.
I'm a little.
Despite the fact that I have a laptop here, I'm not going to fact check that.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, I haven't played the game, so I can't really like criticize it or say like whether it was good or bad or if it deserved anything.
Right.
As a biased answer from the games that I played and enjoyed that were not that game, I would have given a lot of those awards to other games. But this was also right before the controversy of the stuff that happened with that studio after they won all those awards.
Yeah. I mean, do you have thoughts on that? It's kind of a divisive conversation because...
I mean, I know just based on the very little amount of research that I've done in regards to the subject, all I know is that during the development, they used a lot of AI tools.
Yeah.
In order to, make sure that certain things ran properly.
Right.
And then they removed the AI stuff
right
after the game was released.
Yeah, like there's no part of the final game. So for context, for anyone tuning in and might not know what we're talking about, the biggest game of 2025, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, was made by like a handful of people that came from Ubisoft and other studios, and their first ever game was this turn-based RPG thing that blew everyone out of the water. Everyone who played it anyway. And it wasn't until after the Game Awards that news came out that when they were in early development to like design for like placeholder assets, they used generative AI to like create models and stuff.
Yeah.
But as you described, it was later replaced with handcrafted and like hand sculpted models, like from actual artists. Which, on one hand, you have to just kind of acknowledge that if the game has no AI, like final product, then they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think it'd be different if they left the models in.
Yeah.
And especially didn't tell anyone about it.
I think there's this interesting gray area when it comes to like the usage of AI. Am I a fan of AI? No. Am I a fan of how AI has evolved? Definitely not, especially with it like overtaking everything.
Right.
In the beginning, and it kind of applies to this subject, I do agree that it can be a useful tool for like assistance in certain things.
Right.
But as long as it's not the final product, I don't think it's that big of a deal. In this certain situation, I'm going to say I don't think they deserve the punishment that they got. Because it was like an early development thing that they used the AI, and then later on they replaced all of it with like handcrafted stuff, like you said.
Right.
And if they were to leave it, that's one thing. The only reason why I would go towards everyone should be punished and there should be no exceptions is just for the sake of whatever you can do to demote AI and to show it as something negative, then fine. And unfortunately, if that means this situation, then whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a big thing. I mean, I really don't want to get into AI right now.
Yeah.
It's a whole conversation. I've actually, in recent time, become kind of more of an advocate of not using AI. I'm
Right.
constantly posting it on my Instagram and things about how people need to become more educated.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to get into too many details, but I kind of lost it a little bit when Michael Bay started posting like these feel-good videos that he doesn't seem to acknowledge the fact that they are AI, because they're the same ones that I'm constantly like looking into all the time, and it happens that he's posting them.
Right.
But anyways, regardless, it was a pretty big year for 2025.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened, and but like I said, I think 2026 is going to be bigger. Will Supergirl be as big as Superman? I don't know. I think when Lobo gets into the picture, it's gonna, really turn things around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna have the glamour that Superman did, but I think it'll be exciting, especially the second major release of the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a animated series or a show.
Right.
Is going to be a female lead, which will be big for a lot of people. And it's Supergirl,
Right.
And it's based off of like a very well acclaimed comic book, so on and so forth.
Right.
And then there's a bunch of other stuff like Resident Evil is supposed to come out this year.
Yeah.
Which is nuts because Zach Krager blew everyone out of the water with weapons, and he's going to come right back and do the same thing.
Right.
A werewolf. We went on and on and
That's
about
right, yeah.
Nosferatu, and this Christmas season, Werewolf will be coming out with a lot of the same cast, to my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big year for 2026 for movies and games.
Yeah. I mean, 2025 kind of surprised me with some. I was a little under. There's one movie from 2025 we still haven't seen.
I think there was a couple.
Probably, but one that really stood out because it was one that I really wanted to watch, which was Running Man.
Yeah, I missed that one too.
But two different Predator movies came out.
Mm-hmm.
Both really good. One I like more than the other, which might shock a lot of people. I liked the animated one more than Badlands.
Killer of Killers.
Yeah.
I think that one stood out for a lot of people. It was kind of probably a bigger turn on the franchise than Badlands was.
It also just felt more like a Predator movie to me than...
Yeah.
Which is odd because it still, like, jumped
Mm-hmm.
certain, like, stereotypes that most Predator movies have.
Mm-hmm.
Superman came out, like you mentioned. Obviously, like, a big start to the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
28 Years Later came out.
Mm-hmm. And Bone Temple is coming out this month.
Right. 28 Years Later.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little underwhelmed by that. I think there were moments that I found to be interesting, but I think, especially after watching... So we watched both 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, like around the time when the new movie was announced.
Right.
And with both of those being seen
Mm-hmm.
and knowing what I liked from the first two, I think I had a certain idea of what would have made 28 Years Later really intense and really like kind of like overwhelming to watch in a way. But I just felt like it was really like they had like very small moments that were interesting, and then the rest of it was kind of boring.
All right.
There's a camera thing that they were like, oh, this is like groundbreaking. I thought it was like very lame. It was, to me, it was not interesting at all. I was like waiting for like, oh, this is like a special shot. This is gonna be so cool. And then I saw it. And I'm like, that. A lot of people might be mad at me for that.
A lot of people will be mad at you for that. It was like a very well renowned and liked movie.
I thought it was overrated. The new Captain America movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
Liked it a little more than I thought I would. There were some parts that were kind of like, we talked about it, like there were weird slow motion scenes that didn't need to happen. Mm-hmm. But the Red Hulk was like the best part of the whole movie.
To an extent, though. There was only one part or one very small sequence in the Red Hulk fight that I thought was really captivating. But we didn't get to live in it very long. And it's when he's chasing Captain America through like the park.
Honestly,
through the trees, because we got to see how fast he moved and stuff like that.
Honestly, I liked the whole thing all the way up until they got to that street where they started fighting. There's that weird, awkward moment when he was running across the soft grass. That looked kind of weird. But like the whole him on the White House was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The chase scene that you're talking about was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that would have, the White House part would have been a little bit more interesting if they didn't show any of that in the trailer.
Yeah. I
think it would have been a more jaw-dropping moment to see the Red Hulk destroying the White House.
Yeah. I just think overall the Captain America movie was more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I still had a lot of critiques. Mm-hmm. I watched the live action Stitch just because, I had my son over and I was like, hey, let's watch a kids movie.
Okay.
I mean, obviously it's the same movie, but I was still like intrigued more than I thought I would be.
I forgot who's describing this to me, but allegedly...
And I almost cried.
Allegedly, the oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The bigger guy of the two aliens that are kind of like...
Yeah.
Stalking Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of the antagonist of the movie.
Yeah, he is.
Where that wasn't the case originally. He was in the original movie, he was for a moment.
Well, but in general, he is. He's a mad scientist who created a weapon of mass destruction.
But he's not like the antagonist of the movie.
I mean, it's hard to say because I didn't watch both of them side by side. But the whole like High Council thing from the cartoon, it's the same thing. And realistically, they're not like antagonists. Like, sure, they are like opposing to some degree. Mm-hmm. But based on how both movies pan out, that guy still kind of... He's the only person in the movie who you can actually consider to be a bad guy. Both in cartoon and live action. Because they have the same motives. They had the same origin story.
Right.
The everyone else who seem bad, like the agents, the alien council, they're all just doing their jobs.
So in the scene where Stitch is flying away, in the ship, and there's like the whole spaceship, chase sequence, who's flying the other thing?
You mean like, did they bring in like the big alien guy?
The big shark-looking dude?
I don't remember him in the live-action one.
That's right.
But he wasn't a bad guy either.
But he was the antagonist of the original movie.
I think I have to watch the original movie again. All I remember is that I almost cried during the new one. And
that's kind of why I was emphasizing the change in antagonists.
I don't know, but I still enjoyed it. It was pretty funny, especially with how a lot of the scenes with the two aliens when they were like by themselves, once we were like stalking, they had a lot of funny moments.
Gotcha.
But the movie that like surprised me the most, and we had a conversation about this, Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I was like excited, but Marvel the past few years, like I don't have high expectations for much.
Right.
And when I was seeing this, I was like, I'm like excited to watch it, but I'm gonna like not get my hopes up,
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely liked that movie. Like, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, especially because it wasn't the movie that people had. I mean, it's just another thing about the internet and, people who are like unreliable narrators or reviewers or whatnot, because I was kind of informed in general that the movie was kind of like an objective point of view of the Fantastic Four. It was like a movie about the Fantastic Four, but like it wasn't, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I don't know where I'm getting at with this, but essentially, I agree. It surprised me a lot more than I thought was going to happen, especially giving what?
I don't know why I got paranoid, thought that my camera wasn't recording, but it is.
Now you got me. It's recording. Okay. I agree. I think it was better than people made it out to be. And a lot of people were kind of upset about the exclusion of Red Ghost, John Malkovich's character.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was necessary at all.
I guess I would have to see, like, in the original script, like, how he was integrated into the story. But based on what we saw,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any room for him.
Because I think it's just as fine to have everything else being references.
Yeah.
Just like seeing a quick encounter with one of the apes and a couple of the other like villains that they've had to reference different comic books and different comic book covers.
Right.
But I think that's fine.
Mm.
I don't think it needed to go in depth on multiple enemies. I think Silver Surfer and Galactus were plenty.
Yeah. I also think that it's proof that sometimes when you become more comic book accurate, the movie can do better.
I mean, Superman was a good example of that too.
Yeah, I mean, it had its adjustments, but overall, yes, it was like a more comic booky movie.
Right. Like they're not trying to bring comic book characters in our reality.
Yeah, it wasn't like a grounded thing. Like, I
Yeah.
understand with some characters it works, but no, like, comic books are interesting. Like, yes, the characters are allowed to have things in their life that are relatable, or like they're allowed to be relatable characters.
But that can be applied to anything.
Right, like Clark Kent might not be human, nor does he live in a real city,
Mm-hmm.
but you can still relate with him on a lot of things.
Right.
Peter Parker is more designed to be relatable,
Right.
but that's not to say that, like, you can have a Spider-Man movie that's super grounded and that's what makes him more relatable. It's no, you can have this fantastical thing and
Right.
have, like, key points that really matter. But yeah, I think Fantastic Four was the one that I liked the most out of all of these movies.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Superman.
You liked Fantastic Four more than Superman?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Which is interesting because there are still things about, like, Fantastic Four that I would personally, like, adjust. But yeah. Superman was good, but because I even watched it a second time, and I enjoyed it, but I was like, this could have been changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to wrap my head around. Anyways, something I was going to ask you, because we were kind of talking about it. Neither of us played Clair Obscur 33.
Mhm.
And we also didn't play some of the other bigger games that they talked about. And, sometimes the Game Awards will even show, like, super niche games. They're not trying to go for all of the prestige stuff.
Right.
So there were a lot of titles that I was not very familiar with. And, neither of us have a Switch, so there were games that were brought up that are purely on Nintendo that we haven't played.
Right.
So even if it's bias, out of 2025, all of the games that you played, even for your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
what were your top 3 games of 2025?
This actually might be really easy.
I mean, you can be biased because, like I said, we didn't play everything.
Yeah.
And we also didn't play like I didn't even play some of the major contenders like Ghost of Yote. But, like, still try to be a little, I guess, analytical about your answers.
Okay, well, this is hard because if I were to just talk about the 3 games, they will all be like my personal biased answers.
Right. That's fine.
But like I did play other games. Like I played Metal Gear Solid Delta, which at first I had a hard time with. Like you even know this. I think I played it for like a good 3 hours, but I didn't get anywhere in the story. I was having the hardest time. You came in, you played for a little bit, and I was like, wow, now this like kind of looks fun. And then I tried it again, and it wasn't nearly as difficult as it was the first go. I think what it was, because I remember specifically, I started playing the game it was a bad day. I was in a bad mood. Everything was pissing me off. And honestly, like when I'm in a bad mood, the last thing I want is something that's really complicated or difficult.
Right.
I want something that I have more ability to like do easily and not think too much about.
Right.
So jumping into something like Metal Gear Solid, especially Snake Eater,
right,
where, you know, the whole game is like pause it every 5 minutes to change your camouflage, make sure that you're eating, make sure that you're healing, make sure you're doing X, Y, and Z, make sure you don't hang off the ledge too long. All that stuff just drove me nuts. But then I took a breather, went back in, played the whole game. Still parts of the game that, like, if I were to replay, I wish there's a skip button. There's some parts of that game I do not want to do.
The problem is, though, about skipping through it is because there's a lot. Yes, Hideo Kojima games have a really bad problem with lots of exposition, lots of conversation.
That's not even what I'm referring to when it comes to Delta.
But regardless, skipping stuff, there's context in everything. In gameplay, in cutscenes, in conversations, what have you.
Yeah.
There's always context, lore, and something to learn, which is why so many people love the game. And if you did skip it, like if you were streaming it and you had a bunch of people watching who had played Metal Gear Solid and you skipped something, they would lose it.
No, it's not like, okay, first off, in that situation, I wouldn't skip anything. But personally, like if I'm playing the game again, there's just, if I had the ability to, there's one whole section of the game, I'll watch the cutscenes, but the boss fight itself, I want to skip.
I think those are like some of the most creative and interesting parts of the game.
Some of them were, and some of them I could like, oh, it's a little frustrating, but whatever. No, there's one specific character who has like 2.5 boss fights, and it drove me nuts because all segments of the boss fight, I didn't know how to do anything.
Right.
The first section I had to look up. I was like, what am I doing wrong? There's no way someone can beat this guy in under 5 minutes.
Who are you talking about?
What's his name? The bisexual guy.
Volgan.
Yeah, him. Like when you're in that little like thing, it like lowered. I don't know how to explain it. But you're down there and you have to fight him before the bomb goes off.
You had to look that up?
Yeah.
So many ways you can take him down.
I tried so many, and then it's like, oh yeah, you do this like hack thing, and just like, and I'm like, that's stupid.
It can be like fungus. You can even whip out a frog.
Yeah,
like
but then
distract him.
The amount of times that you have to like with the complicated controls and everything, and you're trying to like select everything, throw it, make sure that he does like walks into it on time, and it was too much. And then the whole part where he's like controlling the tank, That drove me nuts.
But the thing is, and what's really interesting about that, especially Metal Gear Solid 3, is if you really think outside of the box, guarantee you Hideo Kojima and his team thought of it.
Yeah.
Like anything you could think of. If you're like, oh, can I do damage to the tank before we get to that boss fight? Yeah. If you find the tank and you put bombs on it, you can do damage to its armor. So when you go into the fight later, it's easier to do.
I did not know that.
When you climb up the really, the iconic ladder and you get to the top of the mountain or whatever, and the helicopter shows up, that helicopter was like hours before just parked somewhere on a helipad. If you blow it up, it doesn't show up later.
God damn it.
I'm telling you. The game is genius.
All right.
Anything you could think of, they've thought of it
We're going to
first.
move on to other games that I played that were less frustrating.
Okay, your top 3.
Top 3.
Or how about we go 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1.
Okay, so 3, Silent Hill F.
Really?
Okay.
No, I believe you.
No, it's not that it's like bad.
Right.
It's just like especially with how biased I am with one of them, like...
Yeah.
Silent Hill F was amazing. Loved it. I recorded it on my channel. Go check it out. Go check it out. I would say, it's a horror game, and it's survival horror, and there's a lot that you have to take into consideration.
Right.
And you're playing as a little girl, so you also have to consider that. But there were a couple segments that really irritated me. One of them just because I couldn't figure it out right away, and it just took me longer. And while editing it, I think I had to chop out huge chunks because it took me a while. There's the field, the weed field with you're introduced to the mannequins for the first time, and that really confused me.
Did you say weed field? Wheat? Rice?
I was trying to think of what kind
of
racist. I was trying to think of what kind of field it was. It's a field, some kind of farm. But you go to the mannequins and then you have to pick the right one.
Right.
Also, resources are really scarce in that game.
It's a survival horror.
Right. So I'm being attacked by these serrated mannequins and having nothing to heal myself or protect myself with.
Right.
But you pick the right one and then it tells you where to go. That just took me a little longer, but it's fine. Then there's this weird dream sequence, and so throughout the game you go back and forth between Silent, or I can't even call it Silent Hill. You're in the town, and then you'll go to sleep, and then you're in the underworld or something like that.
Abitsigauka. I think that's
whatever.
Continue.
But when you're there, there's a segment where you're kind of punishing your friends. It's kind of her way of letting go of weakness. And in doing so, she's executing the metaphorical versions of her friends.
Right.
But there's a segment for one of them where you have to open specific doors. And I was lucky. I purely winged it, but there's one segment where I'm running and I have 2 to 3 different kinds of enemies chasing me. I have no health, no resources, no nothing. And I was yelling at my screen. I was so mad. But so some of those kind of moments really got to me, but overall it was a great game. Great storytelling. Silent Hill is really good with symbolism. I didn't even realize what the whole game was about. That sounds worse than what I mean. I knew what it was about, but the whole message behind it and the true meaning of what was actually happening.
Right.
That's kind of crazy. And some of it I kind of wish I was able to record the alternate endings, but then that would require me to play the game all over again multiple times. So yeah, Silent Hill F was my number 3.
I didn't get a chance to play it, but I did. I watched your gameplay on it, and I watched a lot of like retrospective videos and lore analysis and so on and so forth. It is definitely an interesting game, and I like their way of utilizing different endings. Sure, would I have liked? Because normally, I mean, I'm more familiar with like the Silent Hill 2 way of going about different endings, where a different ending is kind of like a different, in a very vague sense, it's like a different outcome based on a specific character in the game, or influenced by a different character of the game.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And then in Silent Hill F, it was more of like a progression of discovering her life in relation to other people in the game.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was right. It is Abyssagauka in the 1960s. My number 3. This one might be a little surprising because I just played this game like at the end of 2025. South of Midnight.
Yeah.
Was my number 3.
Interesting.
And it's hard to explain why. But first off, it was really... Sure, the combat wasn't perfect. And if anything, I'd say that was the weakest part of the game. It was very rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
You knew when combat was coming. It was very formulaic, same steps over and over again. It's really one of those games to where like the story has to do a lot of the heavy lifting, which it did.
Right.
And I just thought what I did really like about it though was, it didn't focus on some big open world. It was like a platform-based game, and even though it gives you all of the tools in the beginning, and for a while feels kind of repetitive platform-wise, but later on in the game, when you get to chapters 8, 9, and so on, they introduce different ways of mixing it up so that it doesn't feel like that at in the last stretch of the game.
Right.
But their way of implementing a lot of like Southern folklore was really interesting, and creating whole new stories and characters based around these folk tales was really fun.
Right.
And even learning, like just similar to when we were younger with Assassin's Creed, and we kind of got our early influences of history through Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot about American folklore. I know folklore about other places, but it was interesting to learn about, our version of, the Greeks have, Egyptians have the River of Styx.
Oh, okay.
Or is that Greek? My God.
No, that's...
I need to stop talking.
That's Egyptian.
But
you have a computer! Use it! Stop making us look stupid.
He's taking
Greek mythology.
Oh.
So I was technically right the first time. Okay. So, but there's also kind of like the man, who carries you on like a raft or whatever, and how American folklore has something similar to that. He was almost like a Grim Reaper in a sense. I forgot what they referred to him.
Are you talking about Greek or American?
American.
Oh, I don't know.
But we even have our own version of like Baba Yaga, kind of.
I wouldn't even say that it's ours though, because a lot of what happens in,
you know what I'm referring to, right? Hug and Molly.
my God, what's that game called? We're currently talking about it. What's the game called? You're number 3.
South of Midnight.
South of Midnight.
That's what I'm talking about right now.
I know, but a lot of that folklore is very like
American folklore. It's Southern folklore.
I know. I mean, it's in America, but I would say it's more state driven, like regional driven.
What are you talking about?
Because not all that folklore applies to like all America. It's mainly like
Southern folklore.
oh,
Southern American folk. Well, fuck you.
you no,
It's Southern American folklore.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway.
south of whatever. But it was interesting to learn about a lot of those through this game,
Right.
And it was just really nostalgic to play something that was along the lines of an adventure platformer linear campaign that we grew up with,
Right.
but telling it in a new way. Even when you boot the game up on normally you'll just see the tiles of all the different developers of the game, or it'll have just a big giant tile while the game's loading in.
Right.
But this gives you a whole stop motion, like handmade stop motion animation of Hazel and interacting with all of these like woodland creatures and stuff. And I was like, this game is it's so beautiful and artistic, and
Yeah.
it just had this like charisma and what was the word that I used? Did I say mystical? Yeah.
Used?
I was
Like,
talking.
You were talking to yourself?
No, I was talking to someone about this game because I was recommending it to them.
Was
and-
that someone your reflection?
No. Shut up. Hold on. I'm gonna find this text message.
Who do you talk to other than me?
People. People. Leave me alone. Sure, I'm gonna play this game. I hope this game is Southern folklore. I use the word whimsical.
Who are you texting?
A friend, shut
I don't
up.
have friends.
Southern folklore that is in this magical and whimsical world is the way that I described it.
Got it.
That was the word that I was looking for. What?
So
Yeah, I just thought it was a really fun game.
it was a fun game. I played it towards like around the time when it first came out, but
There was a point, I want to say like 3 hours in, where I kind of noticed that Hazel was wearing like the same clothes and she was getting like really muddied up and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, is this one of those games to where you play in the same outfit the whole time, and then when you beat the game, they give you like one other skin,
yeah,
but you're not even sure whether or not you want to replay the game at that point. And then the game kind of narratively gives you different outfits throughout the game.
right.
And I just thought that makes more sense.
I really like the second one, the one like with the white collar and
that like white lace dress kind
Yeah.
of thing. I really liked the last one that she had.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I thought is that it kind of gave too much like Black Panther vibes. Like, because she had like some golden makeup and like over the bluish black.
that's racist.
No, like it had similar,
African designs.
no, like Wakandan, like specifically Wakandan, like
Yeah, but there isn't.
the contrast between like the golden makeup and you cannot sit here and tell me that that's not very specific to Wakanda.
Okay, well, when I played the game, I didn't think she looks like she's from Wakanda.
That was the first thing that I thought. That I was like,
You're
it
racist.
That's not racist. What was your number 2?
I felt like I was gonna add in something. Oh, something that kind of pissed me off when it came to, because like that game had a larger variety of outfits, but like when you're talking about like having the whole or like the same outfit throughout the whole game, something that really irritated me about Silent Hill F was that the main outfit, the pre-order bonus outfit, and the another outfit that you can unlock are all the same thing.
They're just like different colors.
Different colors, and then one has like ear or bunny ears. But it's like, this is not interesting.
You're kind of alluding to something I'm going to bring up later with my number 1 game.
But it's just like, if you play the game without any alterations, you wear a navy blue outfit. If you pre-order the game, you get a white outfit.
With pink. Oh, no,
That's
sorry.
the bonus one. The bonus one is just all pink with bunny ears. Wow, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. I miss old games where it's like, if you pre-order it, you'll get a skin that makes you not even look remotely close to the character that you're actually playing as.
Right.
Like, in Silent Hill F, where's the prototype armor?
Where's the thing that makes me look like one of them?
That would be cool.
I feel like every horror game does that, though.
And it's fine. They keep doing it for a reason because people like it.
Okay, so
they did it in the remake of Dead Space.
Okay, but they also got really creative with it, though. Like, whenever he took his helmet off, he takes his head off.
Why couldn't they do that with Silent Hill F? Why didn't they make it to where when you beat the game, you get, like, this mannequin outfit?
Right.
And, like, whenever she moves, they, like, do, like, a jittery effect or, like, something that makes it a little more interesting. Not just, you got a new shirt!
Anyways, what's your number 2?
My number 2 was, I haven't finished the game just because it's a long-ass game, but Ghost of Yotei. I really, really liked Ghost of Tsushima. Mm-hmm. I was halfway through my second playthrough when other games started coming out, and I was like recording more and what have you, but loved Ghost of Tsushima. It's such a satisfying gameplay, and this applies to Yotei because a lot of it's recycled, but satisfying gameplay. And I've said it before, and you even acknowledged it, especially while watching me play Ghost of Yotei, but it was like the Assassin's Creed game that we've needed during a time when Assassin's Creed started going downhill. It just scratches that itch. And like you have the ability to do satisfying like samurai style gameplay, or if you're like a stealth freak like me, you could stealth out damn near the whole thing. It's so satisfying. There's not one thing about the game that I don't like. I literally, both first and second game, I can't think of one thing. Not one. Love it. Mwah. Damn near perfect. I say damn near perfect, but then I can't think of anything that's wrong with it. That doesn't make sense. I think it's just because I'm biased about my number 1.
Got it. I mean, I can't say much. I was actually thinking about getting Ghost of Yotei, only because I was looking for when I'm done with. I don't know what I need to be done with. I guess I could play it, but I was potentially looking for a game to where I could just, it would be when I'm not playing with other people, it would be like the game that I'm jumping into.
Didn't you just recently get Metal Gear Solid Delta?
Yeah, I was thinking about potentially streaming it though.
Oh, right.
Like not playing it, and I've played the game before, so
I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're a grown man. I highly recommend playing Ghost of Tsushima first.
A lot of people have been saying that, but a part of me is just like, well, for people who were even more critical on Ghost of Tsushima, found Ghost of Yotei a much more satisfying and approachable game to play.
That is true.
And plus, they don't have anything to do with each other. So, I don't need to play the first game.
That's true. But especially for two people who are really into like story-based games.
Right.
The second game hits a lot harder if you've played the first one.
Okay. So, okay, fine.
Also, it's the same argument as, like, let's say you're getting into Assassin's Creed for the first time, and someone says you should really play the old ones first, because technically there's a lot of technical advancements that the newer games made, but you want to go into that because it's like, oh, it's more approachable.
The difference is, though, why I would suggest the older ones is because of the stories that those ones were telling.
Right, but you can
newer
only say that because you've played them. I'm talking about a scenario where you haven't played them, and someone who has says you should really play the old ones first. And you being someone who hasn't played them, you're like, oh, but the new ones are more approachable. That's the same thing with Ghost.
But if they were to tell me, that there was like maybe a more through line story with the older games, which there are,
Right.
Maybe if someone told me that the older games are just better, you know, they lost the sauce at some point in the franchise, and it's just not what it used to be. I've experienced games that are not what they used to be, and I would probably go back and play them.
That's fair, but with that being said, the story for Ghost of Tsushima is just as good as Ghost of Yotei.
But a lot of people are saying that the Ghost of Yotei is just straight up better. You're the first person I've heard so far that it's like at par.
I would say the only thing that's better about the game is how it performs. I would say, if anything, story-wise, if we're going to say which one's better, Tsushima.
Okay. Anyways, I was thinking about playing the game, regardless if it's Tsushima or if it's...
You can play either one, whichever. I'm just saying personally, especially with how we are, like I know how you are with games and everything, I think you would appreciate it a lot more if you played the first one and then the second one. Just saying.
But it might also just be because I've seen more gameplay of the first one. I've seen a lot of the story, and I've even watched you play it.
True.
I've only seen snippets of the second game. So, like, the second game would be completely new to me.
Especially my time recording games for YouTube, I can also state that playing a game and watching it are two different things. And especially with the remaster of Tsushima for the PS5, phenomenal.
Anyway.
Actually, that's what I think even makes them like equals, is the remaster of the first one.
The director's cut?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Well, I think that's what makes them equal.
Interesting.
But yeah. So that's... Wait. Yeah. I said my second. Did you say your second?
No.
Get to your second.
I'm trying to.
That's rude.
You keep talking.
What? Based on what we've talked about with movies, whose opinion do you trust more? Some random schmuck or me? Aaron.
We've had some varying opinions on movies recently, though. I walked away from Weapons being like, holy shit.
That's true. Yeah.
And you were like...
I thought that was fucking weird.
Yeah. Or there was another one just like that recently. What was it?
Oh, what was the movie we watched? We saw it in theaters.
I mean, even 28 years later, I have
28, yeah. It was a good movie. I just was...
What movie?
I thought it was overrated.
Was it?
It could have been done better.
I don't think it was Keeper. I thought we had a similar opinion about Keeper. Or did I have a better opinion about that movie than you did?
I don't think I had a bad opinion. I just think...
No, I don't think it was Keeper.
No, Keeper, there's just one thing that, based on watching a quick moment from the trailer and then seeing the movie, it was different than what I forgot what it was.
I forgot too, but I remember there was something else recently we had both seen, and I had a very different opinion. Regardless, my second game was Death Stranding 2.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not going to lie. I was, even looking back, I was a little let down.
Mm-hmm.
In almost every single way, the game is a vast improvement from the first. Different, improvements on the gameplay, additions to even the director's cut that the director's cut added to the original game. Graphics were insane. Mm-hmm. The different biomes, different weather conditions, different enemy types. So many different and interesting things. I just had a hard time with the fact that the story, it had new stuff in it, but it was so similar to the first one. Not that it was like a complete one-to-one, but there was just very similar beats to it. I predicted most of the game.
You did.
Even the biggest plot twist I made a whole video about months before, maybe a month before the game came out.
Check that out.
And I predicted beat for beat exactly who Tomorrow was.
You did.
And how it happened. Or I was a little off about when she was initially born. But it was because my original prediction was that when the facility blew up and Sam, I was under the impression, wasn't there, the baby had repatriated at the facility, and so they found the baby before Sam did. But it ended up being a whole big thing about Sam's wife having an affair and her thinking it was someone else's kid, and her trying to escape the facility. She died. They took the baby away from her while she was dead, and Sam hadn't gotten to her yet. And then there was a whole... That was a little bit more intricate, but for the most part, I predicted that not only was Lou Sam's biological child and by fate were reunited, but that Tomorrow was Lou.
Gotcha.
Anyway, but there was just like really odd things that they did with the story, things that they treated. Anyways, we just had a very small incident, but we're back to it. All I was trying to say about Death Stranding 2 is that there was a lot of things that they treated like big plot twists and big reveals and things like that, and I just they didn't land for me very well.
Okay.
And some of the things that make Hideo Kojima's games like super quirky and interesting, were just not it. It's really hard to describe them without you understanding any of the characters or knowing the plot of it, because it's like if I explained to you that it was all really it was all really complicated. But in terms of the satisfying gameplay that the first game had, like you can really just get lost in sitting there for hours delivering packages. And it sounds really like when you describe it to someone who's never like played the game before, it sounds weird.
Yeah.
But you just I can't explain it without you playing the game. Yeah. It's so addicting. It all just feels so good. And especially now that they made the game more, like they give you more ways to play. Because before it kind of got stressful the further you went, because the more you interacted with enemies, like you had to be more scarce about your inventory and people could take you down easier the further into the game you got. But this time around, like you had the option of like literally taking your gear off, and you could like Metal Gear Solid stealth a whole facility and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And not stressing about killing people, because in the first game, if you killed people, and you left them there, a whole nuclear-sized crater would be left in the map. It was crazy. And I even tested it once just to be like, is it really going to happen? It did. It kind of blew my mind because it was one of it. They're called mules in the first game. And what I did is there's a point in the game when you get like more advanced weapons the further you go. And I had a grenade launcher, and I had very little ammo, and all I had was lethal ammo. So I was like, all right, boom. And I like shot one of them. They died. And normally you're supposed to grab the body, drop your stuff, grab the body and you have to take him to get cremated, or else they'll, But I was like, I don't have time for that. I need to just go. So I like grabbed myself and I took off.
Right.
And when I had to, track back that area later, it was just a crater.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
By the way, I can make the argument, despite how mad or irritating you might be when I say this. How would you feel if I was like, oh yeah, I think I want to play Death Stranding, but because what I've heard about the advancements in the gameplay, I think I'll play the second one.
I'd say go for it, but you're not going to understand it. Oh, that's not true. In the beginning of the game, they actually do a pretty good job explaining the world.
I'm trying to make a point here.
But you just wouldn't be attached to any of the characters because a lot of them are from the first game. And I think they handle characters better in the first game for the most part. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of characters throughout Death Stranding. But yeah, Death Stranding was my number 2.
Gotcha.
All right, number 1.
Doom.
Doom: The Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages. So first off, I think I've said this before, probably on Innerd at least, or maybe even on my channel, who knows. But Assassin's Creed used to be my favorite franchise.
Oh, you just gotta love doing this visually and not doing any of this properly because we had another technical difficulty. The thing recording the microphones is plugged into the computer, and the computer, which is, kind of the power source of this thing at the moment, decided to restart. So we took a small break. Anyways,
Not that both things that happen were his fault.
Okay, you were at Doom: The Dark Ages. Is your number 1?
Yes. So, Assassin's Creed used to be my favorite franchise for a lot of reasons until what game was it? Odyssey. But Doom has like scratched every itch. So I like really obnoxious and intense shit.
Okay.
Doom 2016, although it's not nearly as advanced gameplay-wise as the other 2 games, I just liked how brutal it was. I liked the gameplay. I liked how you're just playing as this like unstoppable like juggernaut, and each game just got better. And there's more like lore added, and they really found a way to like implement the old Doom games and how to make them relevant to the new series.
Right.
And Doom: The Dark Ages was like what I wished the first 2 games were. Like, I love them for what they were and what they provided, but they really found a way to be like, hey, in this game, do you actually want to play as a god? Because we can do that. You can do that.
Right.
So what I did was, typically when I first play a game, I like to play it on like its standard or like normal mode, just to get like a feel for it and to know what it's like at its like base or standard version. But when I saw the ability to like customize the settings and everything, I was like, what if I made all the enemies really difficult, but I also made myself really powerful? And you'd think, oh, well, then that kind of just balances it out. It was still difficult to play, but God, was it satisfying being able to like mow down these really hard demons, and like every punch felt like an explosion. When I jumped from high ledges and like landed, it felt like a Zack Snyder movie. It was just all it was, I don't even know how to explain it. It kind of felt like that whole sequence between Kratos and Boulder in the first game of the new line of God of War games.
Yeah.
Or God of War 4, I should have just said.
2018.
It was like that, but the whole game. And then there's even a section during like the cosmic realm, which was very like Eldritch, Lovecraftian, Cthulhu type stuff,
Mhm.
which like really was unnerving.
Yeah.
Because like the first games, like with the demonic shit, it really like creeps you out and it's like intense. But something about the cosmic realm really like. So I played some of it on like had my setup at my TV and some of it was at my computer.
Yeah.
There were some scenes where like everything was like quiet and all you hear was like the ambiance of the environment. And some of the like maps were just like endless nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy. I love Doom so much. And I really hope, because when you download the game, it says something about an expansion.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what that expansion is, and rather, unless I missed something,
Mm-hmm.
I really hope there's some kind of like DLC in the works for Doom: The Dark Ages. I'm praying for something that might not exist, but it was so good. Someone posted a video basically saying that the Doomslayer himself throughout the whole game kind of felt like the intro to a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like each time that the Doomslayer made an entrance or like he just like was there,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like how you feel when you go up against an intense boss fight in any game. But like you're that boss.
Right.
It's amazing. I loved it so much. And you know, there's like all the metal aspects and it's like the heavy metal shit and demons and blood and gore and rip and tear and all that stuff.
Right.
It's just erotic.
Oh, brother.
You're number one.
My number one was Chronos: The New Dawn.
Yeah.
And that probably didn't make it to a lot of people's top 5, unless there's the diehard Dead Space fans out there. I'd say that had a big hand in it. You know, it was scratching an itch that I've had for a really long time, which was
Dead Space.
A new Dead Space game.
Right.
And yeah, the remake was outstanding of Dead Space. But the problem that I had after playing it
7 times.
a few times was I was like, I've played this game before.
7 times.
Not this game, the game it's based on before.
I played the first one like 13 times.
And
I played the remake like 14.
and but Chronos, it was, it's an original story and it had, new lore, new rules, new physics, new everything was new. And it had 2 of the things that I go hard for, which is like cosmic horror shit.
Uh-huh.
And something about the diver suit aesthetic, with like across the Travelers, was like top notch for me.
Yeah.
Especially like the whole point of it is, they're diving back into time.
Mm-hmm. And like everything about them, like their equipment and everything was all diver themed.
Yeah, and it was, but I would say the third act of the game kind of falls short for me, and a lot of what I feel like they were doing really well at building up just didn't pay off. Mm-hmm. But if you do replay the game, I do think the New Game Plus ending, which is like the true ending, makes it feel a little bit more gratifying because it makes it feel like there will be more to the story later,
right,
or that there's potential for more of this world. Not necessarily that we have to play as the same character, which I've explained before in a video that I did about Chronos. But it was also just fun. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since I've played. I mean, I can say the same thing for the other 2 games that I played, but I remember I had already been halfway through my New Game Plus, and you were, on your first way through, and Blake was like, I don't know, I found it like really difficult and not that scary, and I was like, what?
Well, the first thing he said, it's like, well, no shit, that's the point. And then the second part,
he was
I'm also a weenie, so like, what people are like, oh, that wasn't scary. I'm like, that was terrifying. What are you talking about?
Well, first off, I wouldn't say that the game is like super scary. I would say it does a really good job at jump scares, and it does a good job at like keeping you on your toes the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's things like lack of enemy variety, which I could have done with a little bit more. It was just something, and I remember even you and Blake mentioned, I've played games with scarce resources, but these resources are rough.
Yeah.
But I found that so, like, it made me think. It
really,
like got my brain going.
It really made you not only like keep you on your toes to make sure,
but you have to be creative on how like you use resources and like you like store them in a particular way.
You like pace yourself. I think with some games you get so comfortable playing the game that you're like, I can just charge in and do whatever. But with this, it's like, all right, before I open this door, which could just be any door, but because you never know what's on the other side, you're like, this is the amount of resources I have. This is the amount of crafting equipment that I have. Will I survive whatever's past this door? Each and every time.
Right.
Which was awesome.
Could there have been a little bit more to round up my feelings about the game, like in the third act? Yes. But did the game set out what I needed it to and what I wanted it to do? Yes. Is Bloober Team like on, my top 5 list now? For sure.
Yeah.
Anything like I didn't play the Silent Hill 2 remake, but I'm definitely going to now.
I mean, I watched Jacksepticeye play it, but they still nailed it.
And I am familiar with some of their older games, but when they were a smaller team and they were making games that were much more pulled back on gameplay, like they're the guys who made the Blair Witch game, but the Blair Witch game is really just like walking. That's like an actual walking simulator.
Yeah.
And they've made a couple others that I'm familiar with, but it was purely just because, and it's not that, I can't appreciate a smaller game. There's so far you can go where you're just kind of like giving a game leeway before you kind of have to just say, I want to play something different. But Chronos, especially like coming off of their success with Silent Hill 2, was just awesome.
I mean, I kind of like with what I said about Silent Hill, I watched Markiplier play the Blair Witch game, but I played the Medium, which that game is also kind of like a walking simulator. Like there are some puzzles and stuff. Like it's a lot of just like learning about the story.
Right.
Like there are cutscenes and stuff, but you go along the way, you read documents and what have you. But I will say is that what really got me, and it's something, especially for someone who's super sensitive to horror games, the silence is what got me. I remember specifically, there's a part in like the first chapter. You get to the hospital for the first time. I think it's a hospital. Whatever that place is that you're at like throughout the whole game. But you get there.
You're talking about the Medium, right?
Yeah. It's like one of the first times that you really start to get comfortable going back and forth between like the real world and the world of the dead. And you have to like, there's like this wall in the real world, but in the underworld, there's a hole in it and you look through it. And I don't know if it's just me like overthinking. Nothing happens, but it's almost like they know it's the perfect opportunity to throw something in your face. But they won't do it because your mind playing that trick on you is worse than it actually happening.
Right.
And the game, like, there is times with, like, background music and, like, intense sounds, but, like, it's quiet. And it's almost like Scorn. Like, when you're playing Scorn, the silence is what's really getting to you.
Right.
Same thing. And I just remember how uncomfortable I was when, like, in the underworld. But then there's times when you come to the real world and you're like, what if it's going to psych me out? What if I come to the real world and then something messes with me? It was a lot of that, like, mind-twisting stuff that I really liked.
Yeah.
So they know how to creep out the fans.
Yeah, and they're they're good at what they do. I think they just... I mean, I'm sure this could be said about a lot of studios and creatives, but they definitely hit their stride more when they're on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of their older games are just a lot of, like, walking. And I guess, like you put, learning. I mean, layers of fear is you walking.
Yeah.
And observing things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chronos just really knocked it out of the park. I'd say if there's one other nitpick, I've made a few nitpicks, but one that just always stands out to me, and it's like blaringly clear when you're playing the game, is there, like, Unreal Engine 5, when used right, which it was, looks great. The metahuman stuff, it drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they did differently with Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill F. Were both Unreal Engine 5. And the character animations are just so different. And the performance capture is so different. But when you use... Like, you can spot metahuman from, like, a mile away.
I can't say anything for really any of the games, but for Silent Hill F... The only thing I can guess is that everything was modeled on a different software and then brought into Unreal Engine, and that's where it was rendered. I'm not...
Well, I mean, they're probably using a third-party animation software.
But what I'm trying to say is I think Chronos, I think they did everything.
Well, that's what metahuman is. It's in Unreal Engine.
I think Chronos would have been a good opportunity for them to do kind of like an old school thing where, like, the gameplay is Unreal Engine, but the cutscenes are, like, cinematic or something like that.
Like blending, like, engines or something like that.
Yeah, or...
Like what the new Halo game is doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a good opportunity because then it kind of, like, immerses you into something that feels a little less meta.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm okay with all of it being in Unreal Engine to keep it cohesive, but it was just the fact of using metahuman for performance capture.
Yeah.
I don't see metahuman getting better, and I don't know. I mean, it's cool for small studios that's their only option, but Silent Hill 2 was enough to show that it's not their only option.
Yeah. Something I wanted to mention with Doom and Ghost of Yotai, which also applied to Chronos, even for me. Doom and Ghost of Yotai, another thing that I really like about the two games is something that I don't get a lot often with games these days, but it's the urge to continue playing.
Okay.
With Ghost of Yotai, like, I'm playing it now, and each time that I play, like, on the weekends or whatever, I always go, one more mission.
Right.
And I just keep going. Or, like, I'll find myself at, like, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I should probably go to bed, but I'm really curious on how this next mission is going to go, so I'm going to do one more mission. Same thing for Doom. It was just like, one more chapter. It was so good. And with Chronos, although... It wasn't like one of my top 3, but it was still really high up there. But I even had the same thing to where I was like, even though I'm, like, frustrated out of my mind on how hard this game is, just a little bit more. Just give me a little bit more. And I just kept going.
Yeah.
Which is hard to find these days.
And you brought it up with Silent Hill F, but Chronos was what I was alluding to about having that same issue with skins. So when you pre-order the game and you just get the same suit, but it's like got blood all over it.
Yeah.
And then if you get the deluxe edition, you get 2 other skins that are just different colorways. One looks pretty different because the highlights and stuff are so much of a contrast on the suit, which is the yellow one.
Right.
But the blue one, when you're playing the game, just does not look different enough.
Yeah.
And then when you beat the game for the first time, it's not really spoilers, but whatever, you get what's called the Leviathan suit, which is essentially like I don't know if you would consider it the upgraded version.
It's like a cleaner,
But
luxurious version.
Yeah, it's like it's the white fabric suit that's got the helmet, instead of having like the line down the center, has all of these like glowing pistons that come off of it. But when you beat New Game Plus, or I don't know if it's New Game Plus or if you beat the harder difficulty. I did New Game Plus on the harder difficulty. But then you unlock the Orphan suit, which is a diver traveler suit that's covered in the merging flesh of an orphan.
That's cool.
It's pretty insane. Oh, and then there was the Halloween one that they did that was free across all consoles, and depending on what console you played on, it was a different color.
Right.
But it was like the pumpkin-headed one. And initially, it's an interesting idea, but the problem is that the pumpkin was the only thing different. There were like vines covering them and like some veins, but from a distance, again, it just didn't look different enough.
But in game, something about it looked fake. Like when you're looking at the preview, it's like, oh, that looks kind of sick. But then you're in game and you're like, it kind of takes me out. And the glowing blue, like for me, it was blue.
Right.
I was like, I don't know why, but that takes me out of it. If it was like not as bright and maybe a different color, it would look better. Yeah. Kronos is also coming out with the
there's a new mode here. I'm gonna look up the name for it because it had a specific name. But yeah, they're early this year. They're supposed to come out with a new update to the game, to where it's kind of like a story difficulty.
Yeah.
To where it's like the easy mode for the people who want to play the game for the story and were having difficulties like with the difficulty of the game.
Yeah.
Here, let me just try to get that.
While you're looking that up, something that was something that I really struggled with when playing Silent Hill F, because I wanted to keep playing the game, but because I was recording it, I had to take in consideration like the amount of time that I recorded on top of the amount of time that I needed to edit the video and then render the video, that I had to like cut myself off at some point. While if I wasn't recording, or if I had more freedom with how I record videos, I could have just kept going because I was so fascinated with the game. And I mentioned it I recorded my 2025 wrap-up video. But the problem is like for me...
Temporal diver mode is what the new difficulty will be.
And it's kind of like an easy mode.
Yeah, it's like the story-driven mode.
Right.
Sorry, continue.
But like with Silent Hill F, the thing that kind of sucked was by the time I got home from work, downloaded the game, recorded the game, edited, rendered, uploaded, posted, thousands of people have already beaten the game. So it almost felt...
There was also a lot of content creators that got the game early.
Right, which it's hard to compete with.
Right.
But if I didn't have to worry about that time constraint, like if I had the ability to like grab the game at like 3 o'clock in the morning when it first came out, and then just played the entire game and just posted it or like streamed it or something, that would have been awesome, because then I wouldn't have to worry about stopping and like playing the next day.
Right.
But I did play it every single day, which was grinding, but worth it. But yeah, temporal mode for Kronos. Personally, I'm looking forward to it because, kind of like what I was saying before, I like to play every game on how it's meant to be played. So like you play it on its like normal but still really difficult setting. But if I were to play it again, I don't know if I'd want to like frustrate myself again.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to try it on the easy mode, and who knows, maybe I'll even record it on the easy mode, because I think it'll still be scary, but enough to where it's like I can still get through the game and maybe even like get enough content in.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Something that was kind of a little bit of a letdown as a lifelong console gamer
Mm-hmm.
is that on my New Game Plus playthrough, I ended up downloading Chronos on my PC.
Oh.
So like the second half of the game, on and off, I would stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely streamed like the last act of the game. How much better my PC ran the game?
Really?
Way better.
But
than
didn't
my Xbox.
PC people have issues?
They did when the game first came out. A lot of people who were like playing it, who were trying to get it like super cinematic and or like even the game like at 1440p, they were having difficulties with it. I don't know if I just got lucky or something. I don't know if maybe it's the port, because I downloaded it through the Xbox app.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm sure a lot of other people probably did it through Steam or maybe GOG. Anyways, no, it was flawless. Looked amazing. My Xbox, even when, there again, it's Unreal Engine 5. But my Xbox, when playing, anytime the camera would cut between like different shots, it would have to re-render stuff. So sometimes the Traveler's like helmet would get blurry and then it would like crisp up or whatever.
Gotcha.
But when I played it on PC, just beautiful. And also on my ultra wide monitor, it stretches out the frame and you could see more of the game. It was too good.
I played it on PlayStation. I don't remember having any issues with it. Even graphics wise, I think there's only one time when the game had to like catch up as far as like the environmental graphics went. But other than that, I thought the game was gorgeous.
What's funny is that if I remember correctly, when the game came out, Bloober Team suggested playing it on Xbox Series X, which is what I was playing it on.
Right.
And a lot of other people were having a better experience with that and PlayStation 5 Pro.
Right.
And then the next best option was PlayStation 5. And then PC. And then the last like resort option would be Xbox Series S, which from what I saw, like people doing like comparisons, didn't look very good.
Mm-hmm.
And frame rate was really bad and stuff like that. And then they also did a Switch version later on.
Right.
So maybe it was just when I started playing it on PC. Maybe it already got fixed by that point. Yeah. But I had a better experience on my PC than my Xbox Series X.
I think we just had like an overall opposite experience than what we thought it was going to be, because like I played it on the PlayStation, kind of worried because it's like, oh, I don't have a PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't have an Xbox Series X. I had no issues with it. It performed beautifully.
Well, mine performed good. I'd say my issues were like textures.
But that's the thing, is I didn't worry about that.
Oh.
I think that might have happened once, but I can't distinctly. That's not even something that comes to mind when I think of Chronos. So I'm not even sure if it actually happened for me that much or not. So we've kind of talked a lot about 2025, but it's at this point it's 2026. And what are some of our anticipated? What are things that we're personally looking forward to? Not necessarily like, oh, just naming off things that are coming out. Mm-hmm. What are things that we are excited for 2026? Because I have a list. Some of them might surprise you. They definitely surprised me. One of them's kind of obvious.
I mean, there are games that are coming out that I have mixed feelings about.
Okay.
I don't know why right now I can't think of a lot of 2026 releases in terms of games. Allegedly, we're supposed to be getting Assassin's Creed Hex, whatever that is,
Right.
this year.
This year? I haven't heard anything about it.
Unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be this year.
I mean, I'd be okay if they were like, oh, yeah, we kind of wanted just to wait on publishing any kind of news about it until the very last minute, which I'd be fine with.
But I'd say oddly enough, when I think of in terms of games, all of the things that are coming out this year, the two that come to mind, one is more worrying than the other.
Okay.
So the first one that I'll bring up, I wouldn't say I'm the most anticipated about it, but I want to keep it on my radar in case things go on the up and up, is Marathon. I really had high hopes for Marathon back when it was originally announced, as a lot of people did.
Right.
I was really hoping that, yes, they told us right off the bat that Marathon was going to be an extraction shooter, but I was really hoping, it being Bungie and all of the games that they're responsible for, I was really hoping we would get another Marathon game in the new generation that continued the lore and the story of the other Marathon games, even if it's in the form of an extraction shooter. That's fine, but Bungie's they thrive in narratives and stories and world building. Right. And doing it the way that they're doing it now is a little concerning, and it's like a hero shooter, and
it's just a weird missed opportunity.
It's just falling short on so many fronts, and the fact that it's going to be a premium priced game for not a lot of they even did a new update thing that's showing like all of the new changes they've made, and some of the changes being really promising.
But are they enough?
Right. And the thing is a lot of the changes I feel like are really going to be for some of the extraction shooter enthusiasts and content creators. But for Bungie fans, for Marathon fans, I just don't know if this game's going to be it.
Yeah.
But I do want to keep my eyes on it because, even with all the controversies, it looks like they're turning the game around and they're listening.
Right.
So I'm hoping some good can come out of it, and I'm hoping that they make more changes, especially monetization-wise, because I think it's a little outrageous, some of the, ways that they want to make money off of this game.
Yeah.
And I like Marathon, and I like Bungie. On the other end of that, there's the also divisive Halo Combat Evolved remake, Campaign Evolved.
Yeah, I had that on my list too. I'm really excited for that.
So I'm just going to get through this, and if you want to chime in, you can, because I don't really have a list of games.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not as mad as... I'm a diehard Halo fan.
Yeah.
And a lot of the diehard Halo community out there does not... a lot of them are not on board with it. There are some that are. They're looking at it and they're like, this is Combat Evolved in Unreal Engine 5.
Right.
Which, for the most part, it is. I mean, it's running off of the Blam engine, more specifically the Halo Reach one, and it's masked over visually with Unreal Engine 5. My biggest concern is that Microsoft, as a company, is embracing AI. So a lot of people are concerned that when Microsoft has press conferences coming up soon, that they're going to use Halo as a way to show off like generative AI stuff.
Got it.
What it'll probably end up being is like textures. So whenever they want to generate like a new rocky surface texture, they can like throw that into AI and it can design one for them. Which I'm not a fan of, but and I'm hoping that ends up not being the case, because I don't a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people are wanting Halo to die. And I mean, I've made a whole video about where I think Halo should go and ideas of how they can utilize it. But if there's any chance that, and Luke Stevens on YouTube made this statement that in the best way possible, hopefully, Halo Campaign Evolved is a prototype for like their workflow and how they are working with Unreal Engine and Blam together as a jumping off point for how they're going to handle later Halo games.
Right.
Because they've made a promise to bring out more games more often, and they've said that they're working on multiple projects right now. So if there is a chance that Halo Campaign Evolved can come out polished, completed, optimized, and that's a prototype for later games, then I think I'll be pretty satisfied. As long as they don't take away from the original game, like Dead Space.
Right.
If it's like a reimagining where all like they're remaking it like one for one, with the exception of adding to it, that's fine. As long as there's nothing taken away.
Yeah.
I mean, they're even having Steve Downs, and I'm blanking on her name. The voices of Master Chief and Cortana, they're even doing like their lines and stuff for the game.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a truthful game, regardless what some people want to say. Sure, was I a little nitpicky about some details, like being able to drive the Warthog in some places that you couldn't before? Sure. Is it a big deal? No. Were there some things like people were wanting some of like the things that were glitches or, mishaps in the original game, like being able to drive the Warthog out into the ocean? It was an error.
Right.
But some people embraced it as like a part of the charm of the game. When it's like, how many people are really going to be doing that though? And especially with the intention of bringing Halo to like a wider audience.
Right.
No one's going to think of that. And it's not like Metal Gear where it's all intentional and it builds on to the experience of the game. Like, just embrace Halo for what it is, as long as they don't take anything away, as long as they don't change anything.
Yeah.
Then it's still the Halo experience that, we grew up with.
Yeah.
Do I think they need a remake 2 and 3? No. I think we have different opinions about this.
We do.
I think 2, the anniversary edition with those cutscenes, fine. Do I think Halo 3 is a masterpiece? Yes. Halo Reach is a masterpiece. ODST is a masterpiece. Leave them alone. Combat Evolved was the most dated and was literally the prototype of Halo.
Right.
That one can be updated. But they really got their stride with 3, and 3 was the template for their other games. That's fine. And I think it should stay that way.
To add on to what you're saying, first off, when they started showing gameplay footage and everything of Campaign Evolved, the amount of hate that it got was so pointless.
I can't tell you how many Halo channels I unsubscribed to because of some of the things they were saying about it.
They're very childish and stupid opinions.
Right.
And I know you can make the argument, well, it's their opinion. Yeah, well, it's dumb. Because all the things that they're focused on is like, oh, like the aiming is different. You mean it's just modern? Oh, no. Like, you can't expect to bring in a game to a whole new generation on a whole new console and reuse the most outdated version of first-person gameplay.
Sorry, but to add on to what you're saying, because I know we talked about this a bunch.
Right.
Something that really got on my nerves right off the bat is people complaining about the sprinting. And people are saying, oh, it's because they're modernizing it and because they're trying to make it more like Call of Duty. No.
It has nothing
First
to do with
off,
that.
sprinting should just be
a necessity.
It's just like when I was you were there when I was playing Hell Is Us,
Yeah.
which I could go on a completely different tangent about right now because anyway. But when I was playing the game, I understand that the gameplay kind of, not that it was a Souls-like, but it kind of had the structure of like Souls-like gameplay.
Yeah.
So I understand how like needing to make particular choices for exploration purposes, but something that drove me up the wall is having to walk around a fence. In real life, I can jump over a fence that's 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
A game, in a video game where it's an action, exploration, whatever, jumping should just be... It's different for Chronos, because Chronos, the point of view is to be slow and to be heavy.
Right.
And there's no part of the level design that needs jumping at all.
Right.
But when you're playing as a character who's like freely roaming around these big open maps, you would think that if you run across something that's like this tall, that you can jump over it.
Right.
And so, Halo, you're playing as a Spartan who is a super soldier.
Right.
An enhanced human who can run faster, who can lift more, who can jump higher, do all of these, even have Spartan sense.
Yeah.
Where their brain is comprehending things
In bullet time.
Right, so it feels like time is slowing down around them. They should be able to run faster than everyone else.
Right.
And if that means sprinting and changing the level a little bit so that sprinting can work in the pacing of the game, who cares?
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
But so they also mentioned in the very beginning of the footage that it's still in development, so that a lot of this stuff is, it's very like prototype, experimental,
Right.
not finished or finalized or anything remotely close. But even in the state that it's in, there's nothing wrong with it. You can't make any kind of argument and be like, this is why it's not like a Halo game or what. Tell me literally point out one thing about it that's not Halo. And then they're like, oh, well, they used this weird model for the Elite that's technically like chronologically not accurate. It's a placeholder. It's not finished. We don't. And realistically, 98% of the people who play the game don't care. I can't tell you, like, I saw that footage, and the first thing that came to mind was not that Elite is inaccurate. It was, oh, look, this is what, like, energy swords look like in the new game, or this is how things sound in the new game.
One thing that I would say that I think was justified is that the Marines were like a 1-for-1 from Halo Infinite. Like, they just pulled those assets into the new game. I can understand that because... Sure, like some years apart, the Marines were wearing different stuff, and it doesn't feel more like the first game as it does Halo Infinite. That I can understand. So it's just like Master Chief. Master Chief in Combat Evolved wouldn't be wearing what he was wearing in Halo 3.
Right.
It's different armor. So that I can get. So if you want the Marines to look accurate, they should look accurate. Yeah, there's a bunch of other assets and elites, and whether it's placeholder or it's creative liberties, it's like just the game's not done.
Right.
Breathe.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Overall, I'm excited for it, and when it comes to remaking the other games, I kind of complained about it when they did come out with the anniversary for Halo 2, but it's like they put in all this energy into remastering the first game, remastering the second game, but then like a legendary Halo 3 they couldn't do for reason, like their arguments didn't even make sense. But again, you're bringing Halo to a new audience, and sure, people might know what happens in the Halo games, but could you imagine? One, personally, I think it gives a lot of creators a breather when they don't have to be like creatively fresh. They have the option. They were like, they could remake all the games if they wanted to, like 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, whatever, bring it to a new audience, a new console, give themselves a break and be like, we can kind of like work on new stuff on the sidelines, but we can kind of take a break from like coming up with new stuff because everyone would be okay with remaking stuff. Again, like you said, as long as you're not taking anything away, as long as you're not changing anything, no one's going to, well, I can't say no one's going to complain because people are bitching about Campaign Evolved, but in the long run, no one's going to have an issue with it because a lot of people have been asking for it. And I will say this real quick. I called it. When Dead Space, the 2023 version was announced, and we saw like behind the scenes footage of what the game was going to be like, I was like...
2024. Sorry, continue.
I said, how cool would it be if they remade like a Halo game with an advanced engine like Unreal Engine, like hypothetically take Combat Evolved, for example, and completely remake it like they did with Dead Space, same method, and they did it.
Yeah.
I called it. And I find that to be so strange, but I personally would be completely okay with it. I know we did get the anniversary of Halo 2. The gameplay itself was still just a remaster.
Yeah.
But also thinking about what Halo 3 would be like, remade, ODST, Reach, like that would be, I would honestly, I would cut it off at 4. Because 4, although graphically it was advanced, the gameplay was still the same as the older games. So you could make an exception on whether or not you want to remake that one or not. Or just remaster it. But you don't have to remake 5.
Well, yeah, no.
Because that gameplay is very like up to date and modern. And you could revisit that like whenever.
Still has a pretty big... online community.
Right.
Yeah.
So that you wouldn't have to worry about. Am I mad about the whole what assets they're using as of right now? No. It was just a demonstration. It's not that big of a deal. The things that people are nitpicking about can lick one. But to kind of just mention some honorable things that I'm excited for game-wise. Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait for Wolverine.
I have one gripe about it.
I don't.
I have one gripe about it.
What's the gripe?
My gripe is I was okay with it for the first game, and then it kind of the first Spider-Man game, and then it kind of continued with the second game, and now it's and it was also in Miles Morales, and now it's in Wolverine. All of the bad guys look the same. They all have like that super bright, white, vibrant, super high-tech stuff. It would make sense if maybe in this game somehow they correlate Silver Sable and her team. So, they have to look the same.
Right.
But the fact that like the enemies are just guys in high-tech suits is like, I wish the Sentinel is one thing. But for the sake of it being Wolverine, I just wish they dialed it down a little bit more and like grounded the enemies, maybe making it like a more underground feeling mercenary team, or something that was more Black Book kind of thing. Especially because with Mystique being in it and opportunities of her being very like espionage-y, assassin type, and also, same thing with Wolverine's suit. I think Wolverine's suit's like a little... Same thing with like the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Like, I think it's a little over-designed. I would have been fine with a Wolverine suit that was a little bit more simplified. With Spider-Man, it makes sense because Spider-Man has all these gadgets, and this version of Spider-Man has like tech in his suit. And working with Doc Ock, it makes sense that Doc Ock could like have all these ideas. But for Wolverine... he should just be, he's getting cut up and he's getting torn apart all the time. He should just be in a very cheap looking Wolverine suit.
To a degree, I understand what you're going at with his suit.
And it would have been a great opportunity for the Brown.
I don't think it looks nearly as Marvelized as his live action counterpart suit. I've also seen like some concept arts of it as like in its entirety, and it does have like a very tactical feel to it, which is nice. I don't really have complaints about his suit. I could understand what you were saying about the enemies. Like they literally could have done.
If I could pick from the two, it would definitely be the enemies.
That I could understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm too excited for the game to care.
No, it's definitely I have very high hopes for it.
Right. Like I fell in love with the Insomniac Spider-Man games.
Right.
I've replayed them too many times. And I felt like so sorry for the people in Insomniac that had to suffer the things that they had to do, because like they're just trying to make something wonderful. And then there are outside sources that are ruining it, not only for them, but for everyone else who actually does care. The leaks were unnecessary because I did see some of the stuff that they showed earlier on, possibly more, which I didn't want to see. And the only reason why I watched it is because I thought it was fan made at first, but I'm like, this looks way too good to be. This isn't fan made. Fuck.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I can't wait. I did also list James Bond. I am excited for James Bond. I don't think I'm nearly as excited for it as like Wolverine and Halo.
I'm really hoping that they clean up some of the performance issues that it's been having, because even the showcase version that was allegedly on a PS5, like a base PS5, was super stuttery. And
I agree. I hope they clean some of that stuff up. I've mentioned some of the gripes that I have when it comes to some of like the performance captures and everything. Like it looks a little bit. I think the environments look good. I think the characters look outdated.
I think they look a little cartoony.
Not only cartoony, but like stiff. I don't know how to explain it, but their motions look very robotic in a way. I don't know how to explain it. I'm still excited for it.
It looks like a fun game.
We're both huge James Bond fans, and
and the fact that it's going to be, stealth, action,
like, it has everything that I like.
Right.
Definitely going to enjoy playing it. Am I looking forward to it as much as other games like Wolverine and Halo? Probably not, but still enough to buy the game and to spend personal money on it.
I might even pre-order like one of the higher editions and get some of the cool stuff that it comes with.
I would say I do hope that there is some kind of just a little bit more news on Wolverine, just like maybe some stuff to talk about more.
It is slated for fall, so we'll probably get it probably in one of the big showcases. We'll probably get some gameplay, and we'll probably get a couple more big trailers. Towards the end.
I hope they may become. It can be vague, but maybe some news on Spider-Man 3.
No.
It's just what I'm hoping for.
I think
if they can come out with any information on something Doom related, whether it is an expansion or it's another game, that'd be great. That's mainly it as far as games go. I think there are more games coming out.
There's a lot.
There is, but for some reason, the only ones that I truly care about are these three.
I was even considering. I'm not a giant Resident Evil fan, but I was even considering the new Resident Evil.
I don't care for it.
I don't know. I'm back and forth about it because, anyway, there's definitely a lot of games coming out. But strangely enough, like all of my attention and all of my focus is on some movies that are coming out.
I was just about to ask about that too.
I mean, we just got a trailer for it, but I'm really interested to see the Death of Robin Hood.
Oh, okay.
Not only because does the movie look interesting, but I really want to see what this director can do. Like he made The Pig, which was an original movie. A Quiet Place Day One, which he also directed, is a prequel to another an IP. And then Death of Robin Hood is another original movie. I mean, based on like a legacy character or whatever.
Right.
But I want to see what he does, when he's really giving the reins to something, because he's going to be directing the Death Stranding movie.
Got it.
That A24 is producing.
Interesting.
So, and that was actually going to be my next point. And it's with both video games and movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm almost more excited for just game and movie news.
Mm-hmm.
Like updates on things that I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Because Hideo Kojima a couple months ago or so had like a celebratory, I forgot how many years it was, but they were celebrating like a milestone at Kojima Productions.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a big celebration of Hideo Kojima.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed some updates on like some games and projects and stuff. They showed like a trailer to a Death Stranding animated movie that's coming out called Mosquito. Death Stranding Mosquito. There was a new look at, or there was the trailer to Knock, OD Knock.
Yeah.
That
I'm excited for.
And then they had the director, John Death of Robin Hood. What's his name? Michael Sarnowski. He was up on stage talking about the Death Stranding movie.
Got it.
Him and the president of A24, I think, were there. And he was talking about how it's going to be an original story. It's going to be like in the world of Death Stranding.
Right.
But it'll be like a new tale, new character, which I think is interesting. And I mean, this based on some ideas I've thrown your way for like or video game IPs. But I think the best way to go, and it's the same thing Zach Krager's doing with Resident Evil. Like, it's in the world of Resident Evil, but it's a new character, new story. Mm-hmm. I think that's the best way to go about a video game movie is, because a lot of the video games, especially ones that work for movies, have big expansive universes. Why not just like even to appease the fans, like make it work so that it can live in the continuity and be canon? Just do something different.
Yeah.
I don't want to pitch. I don't want to jinx it and throw out ideas I've had for video game movies, but yeah, the idea, because rehashing a Death Stranding movie would be complicated and probably be kind of weird.
Yeah. And
I don't know how you'd be able to squeeze that into a 2-hour movie.
Right.
But I'm really excited to see more about Fizzant.
Oh yeah.
I want to see. James Gunn just alluded to an unannounced show that they're working on. So there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's things we know is coming out. But I feel like I'm more curious about the things we don't know about yet. And I'm also hoping that, Konami said that they're going to try to do a Silent Hill game once every year. I think that's overdoing it. I think they really need to take their time with each game and let them come out when they need to come out.
Right.
But if there's any chance at all, they can rather start remaking other Metal Gear games, or I don't know, just something.
Yeah.
I want the ball to get rolling on some of this stuff.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at in terms of anticipation. Oh, sorry. I want to do this really quick while I'm remembering. Have you watched any movie trailers recently?
I've watched a couple.
Okay. So A24 dropped this thing the other day. I want to be clear. We're recording this on the 8th of January.
Mm-hmm.
So this, within a span of like 48 hours, there's already an update to what I'm about to show you.
Picture.
Okay. So, I want to say this was yesterday that the A24 just posted this video.
Okay.
All it was titled was "It Wants to Be Heard."
Is this the podcast one?
Well, that's the thing. I don't really know that yet. Okay, but I just kind of... I'm going to turn this up. It's 2 minutes and 22 seconds of this.
Oh!
I don't know if you guys can hear it. Maybe I'll like stop like in editing. I'll kind of like do a... But anyways, and then there was a trailer for... Okay, the movie is called Undertone.
Welcome to the Undertone podcast, where we talk about all things creepy. I'm your in-house...
You're right. It has something to do... I think it has something to do with podcasting. It looks like it all takes place like...
I only watched a fraction of the trailer, so I'm not...
It like takes place in like just a woman in her home,
Yeah.
or whatever. But as she's listening to a recording, it kind of sounds like something that would be made in the 2000s when you describe it. Because like as she listens to a recording, more weird shit starts happening in her house.
Yeah.
But only A24 could, choose a writer, director, or whatever to make something look like this movie.
Yeah.
I'd say just when you get a chance, watch the trailer to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It looks kind of insane. And it's funny because I was just listening to... There's a podcast, I'll insert the name of it here. It's a pretty big podcast. It's the Ringer Movies Podcast. And his name is Sean. But the main host was just saying, like, sometime last week, he was like, I love A24 stuff, and they're coming out with a lot of interesting things. But I kind of need them to make another horror movie again. Like, it's been some time, and A24, like, got their start with making really nasty, like, scarring kind of horror movies. He's like, I kind of need them to get back there and, like, get back to where they came from kind of thing.
Right.
And, like, right as he said this, they came out with this.
Right.
And I agree. I think A24, I mean, they make great choices. They make really interesting stuff. I think they've been a little too fixated on prestigious movies lately, like Marty Supreme and the Smashing Machine.
Right.
But, yeah, I need another horror movie from them again because
Yeah.
Neon has kind of been carrying that mantle a little bit, but nothing has been... Arguably, nothing has been as strong as an A24 horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the last one from A24 was Bring Her Back. And I have some opinions about Bring Her Back. But
Oh, that was the other movie! Not Bring Her Back, Companion!
Companion.
We had different opinions about Companion.
I didn't watch Companion.
Then it wasn't Companion. Damn it! I swore it was Companion.
I do think we're on the right track, though. I think it was a horror movie.
What other horror movies have we seen recently? We're getting off topic. Continue what you were saying.
Well, that was pretty much it.
Oh, okay.
I was just excited. You were actually the one saying something.
You're right, I was. Oh, no. So you were talking about movies you were thinking of?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't think of a lot of movies that were coming out this year. There are some that aren't, like, nerd-related. There's, like, Michael that's coming out. I'm interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Only because, like, we grew up with, like, listening to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But, so, like, the movies that I noted down were, like, Bone Temple, Avengers, Supergirl,
Oh my god,
Spider-Man.
Avengers.
So Bone Temple, I put down the word redemption, ? Only for like my personal opinion about 28 years later.
Okay.
Hoping that Bone Temple kind of like
This is a different director, so it'll probably be different.
I hope it makes up for what I was looking for in the movie leading up to it. Supergirl, I'm excited for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't necessarily have any negative opinions about it. I guess I just hope they don't like underplay Supergirl herself. Like they come up with multiple excuses for her to not be able to do X, Y, and Z. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, it looks pretty true to the comic book so far.
It does.
So there's probably going to be some things to do with like Red Sun play and whatnot.
Avengers, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm kind of back and forth because like some of it is kind of just like, oh well, you know, they're too afraid to do like to go outside of their comfort zone, so they're bringing back some old stuff. But then like I did see, although I was trying to hold back from it, I watched the Cyclops or X-Men trailer. I was like, god damn, I'm a little excited for that. But I think, and this is, I put the word surprisingly next to it. I think I'm more excited out of all of these for Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah. And I think, I could be wrong. I trying not to get my hopes up. I kind of feel the same way I did about like Fantastic Four before seeing it. But a part of me wants to believe that they maybe understood what they did wrong with the Tom Holland Spider-Man beforehand. And like now that they have the opportunity to do a very comic book accurate Spider-Man, that they will like do what needs to be done to rectify some of those mistakes.
Yeah.
And kind of like how the title suggests, it's like a fresh start. It's a brand new day. I'm trying to keep myself like optimistic about like possible changes. They have a director that has done nothing but good stuff for Marvel. Like
He's only done one other thing for Marvel.
Okay, well, he did something else outside of Marvel, but it was successful. I just can't remember what it was. But like he did Shang-Chi, which was pretty good. Although I am skeptical about some of like the predictions that they've made about the movie, I think that I'll like it more than Homecoming and Far From Home. So I don't know. I think I'm really craving another faithful Spider-Man movie, and I don't care what any of you like Tom Holland lovers believe, but those were not faithful at all. I don't know.
I'd say that what I'm nervous about is I feel like they're falling into a similar trap with bringing in too many characters.
That's one of the things I was kind of worried about too.
Like, it's one thing if it's like a Sinister Six situation, or you know, even the first Insomniac game where it's Spider-Man against a lot of people. You know, but they're already bringing in the Punisher, and there's rumors, for some reason, like allegedly really strong rumors about the Hulk being in this one.
I heard Bruce Banner is going to be in it. Oh no, I've also heard the Gray Hulk is going to be in it.
But like, where are these characters supposed to fit, you know, all in the same spot with Spider-Man? On top of the fact that Scorpion's like the only actual bad guy that's been confirmed.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, Punisher can be an antagonistic character depending on how you write him and fit him into the story. But I think Spider-Man is more interesting at his best when it's him against the world. And when there's, you know, more he has to contend with, both as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker.
I think what I personally believe would work for the movie, including all these characters, is so like aside from Scorpion,
Mhm.
let's say they treated Punisher the same way they treated him when Punisher was introduced in the Spider-Man comics.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how they would do it, but like kind of find some plot narrative to where the Punisher is going after Spider-Man. So kind of making him an antagonist.
Yeah.
But with the Hulk, I hope that they bring in Bruce Banner as like Peter's like trying to find a science. He's trying to think more like Peter Parker when it comes to a situation or a solution, and he wants like a second opinion, so he goes to Bruce Banner. On the side, Bruce Banner is like working on something in regards to like him, like maybe to like make to help. I personally, I think that they should use the Gray Hulk as an excuse to rectify the mistakes they've made with the Hulk, like the lack of regeneration, the whole Professor Hulk thing. What if they're like, let's say there's like there's like a mid credit and a post credit. One of them has to do with Spider-Man, and one of them has to do with Bruce Banner doing something with like a serum or something, trying to like fix him, but then it kind of reactivates old Hulk, but when he like starts to turn, his skin turns gray and not green. And you wouldn't get like a full transformation, it would be a tease, but it would be like that aggressive start that makes you think that old school Hulk is coming back. But again, with like green eyes and gray skin and not green skin. I think that's the only way it would work.
Interesting.
Not saying that that's what they'll do, because typically that's, despite how right I think I am when it comes to those things, they usually don't do it. But yeah, I'm surprised on how excited I am for Spider-Man, only because I'm optimistic that they have the opportunity to fix things, and they should take that opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
I just don't like his web shooters. Everyone's like, oh, they look so cool. I think they look stupid.
In regards to Avengers, I don't know. I'm just not on that train where I'm excited for it. I don't know if I care at this point.
I'm really excited for the Sentinels and the X-Men.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Kevin Feige has opened up about how he plans on recasting the Avengers.
Yeah.
And not even just the Avengers. I think a lot of the major characters, including the X-Men.
Right.
I just don't know how worth it is to bring everyone back for what's going to be one, maybe a two-parter movie, and start over. I understand they want to make it to where when they do start over, the X-Men will kind of be like the lead of the new front, but they're still establishing new characters as they go along. So if they end up recasting people, are they going to recast everyone? Like, what about the new Avengers that they just did? Or what about the Fantastic Four when they come in Doomsday and they potentially meet a lot of the original members who they might end up recasting? Like, are they going to be the same and then everyone else is going to be different?
It kind of feels like when the whole decision on bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Doomsday and them saying like, oh, well, it doesn't feel like anything matters. It kind of feels the same way. Like, we went through years of watching these characters grow and progress and evolve just for it to start over. What's the point? Like, I know that in comic books it's one thing because they have more leeway to extend comic book universes. But when it comes to movies, people look for beginning, middle, and end. They don't look for the same thing over and over again, despite what movie developers might believe. No one wants a recasting. No one wants another reboot of a whole cinematic universe. One character is one thing. A whole universe, it's worthless. And it made all that progress for nothing.
And it's And some would probably argue, oh, they just did that with DC. But the difference is that with DC, ever since Zack Snyder left Justice League originally, it was already going on a downward slope, and the DC EU was just slowly dying, and it was getting to a point where Warner Brothers didn't want to acknowledge that yet. And then when phone calls were made and ideas were born that James Gunn and Peter Safran got involved, and they came to a conclusion that like starting from scratch was the way to go.
Right.
But for Kevin Feige himself to come in after all of this time and deliberately and intentionally plan to reset everything at a particular point feels just lazy.
Yeah. And
it feels like, he doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that the MCU is just dying at this point. And they're acknowledging the fact that they can't make an Avengers movie without the original trio, in whatever fashion that is. The only thing I've heard remotely interesting, okay, first off, yes, the Cyclops tease was cool.
Yeah.
The only interesting thing I've heard so far is that it was a theory, one of the guys from the Weekly Planet he noticed that all of the teasers and then the ending of Fantastic Four had to do with children. I forgot what he said, but apparently there's a plot thread with Doctor Doom at some point in the comics where he takes all of the like superpowered children.
Yeah.
And that even makes sense with the X-Men,
right?
Especially, the House of Xavier. So I'm curious to see if they do that and where they take, which direction they go with that. But other than that, there's no part of the MCU that I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious to see how it plays out, especially after following it for so long.
Yeah.
But the DC seems more intriguing at this point. Or, sorry, the DCU seems more intriguing at this point. Like, all of the different style stories and movies and like the fact that it's new.
Yeah. I think moving forward, I think it's unfortunate because it's so late into the lifespan of the MCU that there's so many characters that we wanted introduced, but now it's too late because no one cares anymore. Like Gambit, he came in too late. I'm excited that Channing Tatum finally got the opportunity to be Gambit, but again, it's so late. We still wanted a Blade. We didn't get a Blade. And there's so many characters that... There's also characters that were introduced and not faithfully done, like Moon Knight.
Right.
Come on. No, but I think now is a good time for them to take a step back and start doing independent superhero movies again. Like an independent 2099 Spider-Man movie would be sick. You could introduce other Marvel characters in the 2099 universe to maybe give some people like a fresh pair of eyes on something that they might not be aware of, like a 2099 Punisher, a 2099 Ghost Rider. Like some of the cool things that people aren't aware of, or like the things that do connect, like the 2099 Doctor Doom is Victor Von Doom, who just got stuck in the future and utilized that opportunity. That's sick. Do that. But no, let's just recast Marvel. I think that's silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Brandon, I think we've been here for a couple hours or so.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to wrap it up. But it's good to be back. There's still a lot of work to do, clearly.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to try this again on a new foot.
Me too.
And with a new year, new style.
Yeah.
And hopefully a new way to approach this podcast. And I hope everyone who's listening and who's made it this far into the episode is also excited and is willing to watch as we potentially grow this podcast into.
Make sure to go check out Aaron's channel at Aaron Something on YouTube. Make sure to check out my channel at Brandon, obviously, on YouTube.
With all that being said, I hope you guys all have a great one and goodbye.
What?
I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional.
He's your host, Aaron.
And he's your host, Brandon.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace. Peace. How did I get in these clothes?